politics, let's talk about Iowa. Iowa. You all know the result of Iowa, so I'm not going to dwell on the fact, of the results. I just want to make some comments about what's going on because I've become very involved in social media, which I say over and over again because I find it personally revealing and hilarious that in the winter in December of 2022, Royce White approached me about putting together a broadcast channel, Free People Radio, and he started telling me I'd be a great podcaster because we'd been talking for a long time and interacting in a political sense, and I had no idea what a podcast or a podcaster was. So uh, I've come a long way in my social media content. I hired a really young kid to do it for me for a while because I had no interest in it. As I walk up these ladders into this secret society of entertainment broadcasting, because that's what this is, but our entertainment has got a real hard political edge about political action. So if we can make that politically entertaining and we get out in the streets, like Susan says, hey, I'm a success. That's what we're working for here. But I realized one day I got to do my own social media, and I'm starting to do it. And, for someone that goes back like I do before there was cell phone, before there was computers. I remember my first job. We were doing the bookkeeping by hand. When we got a computer, this was like 1980. I mean, the thing was like an entire room. It was hilarious. And when I get into this social media now, it's the first time I'm actually into it. I mean, I've just never done it because I'm really not into the show business and I'm really not in love with myself to do this. I'm doing it with an intention, and I'm not passive. And I don't watch sports. I mean, I'm not a spectator, by just who I am. And now I'm in there spectating what's going on X, and wow, what a cesspool, and what a display of, on the one hand, kind of the best thing I could say is ill-informed or underinformed. And then what a bunch of manipulators. Oh my goodness gracious. There are influencers on there. I'm holding myself back on these people as best I can because I don't want to fall into the trap of giving any oxygen to these people. I hope they just go away, but they don't go away. They actually are going to require American citizens to confront them because they're liars. See, I don't mind people having opinions. That I do not mind. In fact, I love it that we all have opinions and we get to talk with each other and this is how we get the best ideas to prevail over time. And what's great about our political system is it moves slowly, so we have evolution and we try to stay away from revolution because the founding fathers knew that revolution means people die. Much better to have intellectual evolution and follow a world of ideas through a system of law so things move slowly. We got a lot of times to talk it through. Think about it. That's what we're doing here on Free People. We're truth-seeking media so that we are better informed to talk with our family and friends or our peers when we do that peer-to-peer engagement. But these influencers that are representing these candidates that don't have a prayer, like Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, these people are totally full of it. And this is something that I never have seen up close and personal. So I completely get why American citizens want to have nothing to do with politics and politicians. I've never really got it inside myself because I've been involved in politics pretty much my entire adult life, and I enjoy the intellectual challenge of it. But man, these people suck, make me want to quit. I've never seen so much manipulation and lying in a short period of time. I held my tweets back, before this caucus because these DeSantis people were acting like Ron DeSantis was going to run the table. I mean, I have to say to myself, I don't know, and I'm not going to be a fortune teller because that's a cognitive distortion. there's three ways to tell the future, I guess. Let me think this through. One way is to tell the future because you're on the payroll and you're painting a picture to make people do what you want them to do. Okay, that's on the payroll, just telling stories. Okay, salesman. Very good. And these people are full of it, okay? Because they were selling an empty shelf. They didn't have anything, and they probably knew it. Number two, you can just be out of your mind, not have your brain wired right, and you cognitively distort as a psychological malfunction. That's no good. That's something people actually could go to therapy for or go to church for to realize that, we can think about the future and we can prepare for possible futures. But when we're sure we know what's going to happen, hey, come on. We can predict, we can plan, but let's focus right here and right now and try not to sin today. That'd be a much better use of our time. What am I doing right this second? So there's that. Being on the payroll, there's being mentally screwed up. And then, telling the future, there are some people that are making the future. So they have a better idea of what to fence because they're putting everything into it. And of course, they pay these influencers to pave the way. And these influencers, oh, God, they piss me off because they lie. And we can't engage the American people in politics if the people that are the most vocal are the most full of it. Let them go work for the circus. Actually, they've turned politics into a circus. And you're watching me being very self-revelatory. I didn't realize how bad this was. We're going to have to change this. And we're going to talk about this in a minute. But these people went to caucus. These Iowans went to caucus. They went to caucus to self-govern. Whatever state you're in, whatever country you're in, there is a way to self-govern. Now, every polity is different. The rules are different everywhere. And there is something for everyone to do to self-govern. It is an infinite path of becoming. Owning your own business is a process of self-governing, of lessening your dependence on other people. I'm still dependent on other people, but I do own my own business. So I have the responsibility of paddling my own canoe. I have a lot of associated organizations, like my bank, that I am in fact dependent on. And if I got really successful, like if everybody went to Target and bought tires, hey, I wouldn't need a bank. So I'm trying to lessen my dependency. Well, and then at that point, I need the tire suppliers. I have to buy the tires from someone. So I would be dependent on the tire factories. Okay, so now I'm in this business where I'm trying to develop a political action community where I could sustain here. Everything for me is a process of becoming more and more self-governing. Your health, that's another area of self-governance. Are you taking active steps every minute of every day to develop, to strengthen, to improve your freedom through your health? Or is it a process of increasing dependency? These are issues that we can sort through. This is actually a good podcast. All the different ways people can self-govern. And within the political realm, we can enter the parties. Voting doesn't get it done. When they tell you you've discharged your responsibility as an American citizen by going to vote, you've been scammed. That is a scam to make you ineffective. Some people could just sit and write to their elected representatives one or two emails every single day, like daily ritual, like political kung fu. If 1 million people started to write, let's say, one governor, like Ron DeSantis, for example, and he started getting 1 million emails a day, 1 million from 1 million American citizens from all over the country, he'd listen. If they were from Florida, he'd listen even closer. And if they were from the Florida Republican Party officers, he'd do exactly what he was told to do because he would know at the next convention, if he pissed off those officers, he would not be endorsed to be the next representative of the Republican Party in the gubernatorial election. You see how this works? We, the people, determine what's going to happen if and when we decide to show up. So I'm going to make one quick additional comment. Two more. This was a caucus. That means it was dominated by the Iowa GOP. That would be the Iowa GOP, which is affiliated with the Republican National Committee. 3 Iowa elected party members are national committee people, and they are members of the Republican National Committee, and they lead and guide and control to a very large extent, at least to the extent that the Iowan citizens make space for them, they control the Iowa Republican Party. And the same thing here in Minnesota. These people hate Donald Trump, and they hate the American citizen. When I say hate, hey, I'm here with these people. Hate probably doesn't capture it. They hate the American citizens that are storming the gates of power, speaking truth to power. They hate these people because why? They want borders. Think about what goes on in Iowa. It's a farm state. They want borders. They don't want illegal immigration into the country. Now, if you're in a farm state, you need a lot of undocumented people to go work on your farm for, slave wages. Hey, let it rip, baby. These American citizens don't want debt. They want assets. And they want to end the endless wars. And our Republican National Committee and our Republican hierarchy establishment is controlled by neocon warhawks that are okay with an open border because it increases the need for an authoritarian state central authority to control all the crime that all what Royce White calls them, the conservatives, that are going to go, please protect me, because they can't self-govern. They don't have self-defense skills. They need the government to protect them. So the more people that you let in that are poor, you get an underclass of labor that you can exploit like slaves. Let's leave out all the other horrible exploitations for today. And you get crime, which then brings forth a plea for policing. And the police are the local outer guard of what? The military-industrial state, which is what? The New World Order. So these people love this immigration because it causes a centralization of power. That's what the people in power want. Not for David Penn to be self-governing. They want to govern me. They don't want me to be able to throw them out and turf them out because they're asses. They don't want that. They want me at home, smoking a joint, getting sick, eating Cheetos. And you know what? Screw these people. We're not going to do this. We have a lot of will here in the American people. We're going to get up and do it. So this group, Iowa GOP, which has elected one senator in 1981, Chuck Grassley. Think about being a senator since 1981. The national debt in 1981 was less than $1 trillion. In fact, in 81, it crossed over $1 trillion, the $1 trillion mark for the first time. So Senator Chuck Grassley has presided over a federal budget that has gone from $1 trillion in debt to $34 trillion in debt in his tenure in the Senate, and he's going to blame the Democrat. No, Chuck, it's your fault. Then we got Senator Joni Ernst. What's Senator Joni Ernst claim to fame? Well, guess what? She's ex-military. Good for her. She's part of the empire. She's a supporter of the military. And I'm going to say this again. If you're a veteran and you're watching me, I spent a lot of time in that world. I love my best friends, my closest friends, the people I love the most, they're all military. We did very dangerous things together, and we depended on each other, and I trained with them, and I learned a lot from them, and I love those people. I don't have any with any military member. But if you were military and you retired and went into the Republican Party to show for the military industrial complex, you, ma'am, or you, sir, are the problem. You are the problem. And that's why you are fighting me, because you know I know, And I know that you know that I know that you know. And that's why there's this big fight in the Republican Party. Because the American citizens have had enough of endless war, and we've had enough of being poor, and we're coming to take this party back from you people because you've really not done a good job in your stewardship of the party and the American people. You've done a terrible job. And the evidence is endless war, 34 trillion in debt, and no border. I mean, this is a terrible job. Don't blame this on the Democrat. We live in a two-party system. You're in bed with these people. You go, oh, I hate my wife. Where are you going to go tonight? Home? You know what? Stop.